go. All right, so this is beginner. We have Builder Johnny with 50 games played, apparently. So we're going to approach this from a beginner perspective. And so far, so good. Of course, we do want to have the sheep directly under the TC, so you have to remember to get the sheep directly under, because that's going to minimize walk time. You always want to be thinking about how to make your villagers as efficient as possible, so reducing the distance that they have to drop the resources. So they're close to the TC, it's pretty okay, but if it's under the TC, then they don't have to walk at all to drop, so that can be very strong. Yeah, this is gonna be a little bit late. It's so close. So another thing that you can do, yeah, you have to get them to go. So another thing that you can do is hold the shift key to shift queue to the next thing as well. So the most efficient way to take your sheep is to select, for example, all the vills and a sheep, right click the dead sheep, and then shift queue to the new sheep. That's how you stack them. So yeah. So you have to get this sheep out a little bit because it doesn't stack properly if it's too close, but you get it like over here, and then you select everything, right click the middle, shift queue to the new sheep. And that's the most efficient way to do it. But not so bad. Okay. And so we know about this. The resources on Arabia that you're looking for. So I do have a video on this. Something to do with scouting. I can't remember what the video is titled, but it'll be in my knowledge playlist. If you want to check it out, let's type that in chat. Knowledge, somewhere in there, in the other scripted videos section. So what you're looking for in Arabia is 8 sheep. You start with the 4 pretty close to your TC, so you don't have to consider those so much. 2 boars, main gold tile, which has 7, 2 secondary golds that have 4, which, yeah, we see them. And then a main stone that has 5, and then a secondary stone that has 4. Those are the main things. And, of course, the berries. And once you find all that, well, you don't have to find all of the secondary golds, for example, but, you know, knowing where the main gold is, knowing where the boars are, knowing where the sheep is, that's the main thing. Then you want to think about, okay, how am I going to wall my map? And, like, so that when the opponent gets here, the walls are already up, or I can quickly make the walls in a intelligent way. So like here, and then wall to the TC here could be pretty good. Like just wall to here. If you wall to here, there's a lot of space that is kind of useless, right? So we don't really need this area, especially because we have 2 wood lines back here. So it's like here, here. You could connect these, because then you go in front of the berries, and then to here could be okay. Then maybe a tower on this. We couldn't wall in front of this, but it's just there's a lot of extra space that we don't need to control. So it can lead to extra wood cost and extra time for walling, which is kind of hard, because if you spend too much time walling, then your opponent still gets in with the units, and then the walls were kind of a wasted investment. So with walling, if you get them all up without taking any damage, okay, that's good. But if you make half a wall and then he still gets in, that's the worst case scenario, because now you've invested a bunch of resources into a wall that doesn't do anything. So yeah, when you wall, you have to make sure to think of what's like the maximum size you can make it, and what size makes sense, and you figure that out with experience as well. So anyways, it's not the main thing here, but you do want to be thinking about how you want to wall your map, at least a little bit, because it'll make the game a lot easier, so you don't have to react as much when the opponent gets the walls. You have a lot of time to react when you have walls, and he's hitting your walls for a little while, then you react. Of course, the big advice for lower elo is always keep that idle TC as close to 0 as possible, because each villager takes 25 seconds to create. So, I mean, 44 seconds, that's pretty close to 2 villagers down, which is a lot. Luckily, the opponent, of course, is the same level, so it's about the same. Nice. Okay, so we've got 5 on this camp. Yeah, if you go 9 on wood, it works pretty well. This is going to be 8 on wood, but oh yeah, there we go, 9 on wood. Okay, so you obviously know a build order, or you sort of know how to balance your economy going into the feudal age, which is great to see so far. Wooden wall in the front of the gold on this map. Yeah, it's too big. Like, if you commit to this wall, then you're kind of committing to this wall as well. And you don't need the gold right now. You're Franks. You're going to be playing probably scouts, probably skirms. Ethiopians, they're going to be going archers, and they do have the free pikeman upgrades. They're incentivized to make lots of spears. So you have to be careful of Ethiopians, pikes, and archers anyway. So you'd be making skirms instead of archers yourself, probably. So you don't really need the gold right away. So initially, I would make these smaller walls. And then mining camp and a tower could be pretty good. Mining camp and walling in front, like with your market and blacksmith, with some more walls later, could be pretty good. But if you try and wall too early like this, the opponent could get in with some units because the walls are going to take a long time to come up, and we're going to be slow to making other things. There's the stable, so good. You got the stable up right away on the next age. That's great, and I'd love to see double bit coming in directly after. So once you reach the next age, you want to make your military building, and you want to make your double bit upgrade. So the main thing to think about, okay, the point of going to the next age is to access technologies that are in the next age. So you want to be doing things that you unlock in the next age as soon as possible into the next age so that you can gain advantages. So this being getting the stable right away, getting double bit out right away, which is pretty much what you did. So that's really good. But yeah, these walls, I mean, they're just kind of big, right? They're easier for the opponent to break in. It might still work on this level, but instead of these walls, it could have been earlier farms, which means that you have more food income early, which means you can make more scouts, which means that you can get to castle age faster. Walling costs resources. It's not like it's free. It's actually pretty expensive. It's just really good. So yeah, the walls. This is how you would wall if you wanted to wall your base like maximum, but it's not really necessary. I think just getting farms down a little bit early is better. So now that we're into feudal age, the main thing to talk about is the feudal macro aspect. So we want to be spending our wood as soon as it comes in. So every 60 wood, we want to get a farm. And you're actually doing a really good job with the villagers being in the right spots. Like the rally point set to straggler trees, and then you just use the straggler tree vills to build farms. And it's super simple. So far, so good, actually. And you haven't really found your opponent here. Let's change this color. It's really hard to see. I'll just change it to blue. There we go. So I haven't really found your opponent yet. Once you get a little bit more comfortable with your feudal macro, then I would suggest keeping your scouts together and attacking with them. But it's like, yeah, it's kind of hard to do. Focusing on the economy management side of things until you get more comfortable with it is probably the main thing. Because obviously these scouts are going to do nothing if you don't use them effectively. And they're kind of hard to use effectively because you have to use the mobility. They're not really very strong at fighting anything. But you saw archers and spears. So you have to be thinking, okay, what counters both those units? The skirmisher. So I would love to see an archery range right here because there's a three tile of palisade. Perfect place to reinforce behind with a archery range, and then maybe a house here. Yeah. Stone gate, not a bad idea. The only thing is that you start with 200 stone, so that means that you're not going to be able to make a second TC or like a third TC in the castle age. So if you're going to get a gate like this, you can definitely spend that 70 extra stone on more stone walls somewhere. It's completely fine. I'm not sure what happened here, though. We got a mining camp with no builder, so I really don't know. Oh, she's on the outside. Classic. The stone gate. Well, palisade gates are really weak, so I actually am not opposed to that. It looks weird, but it's kind of okay. We're going to make skirms, but I mean, you're walled. You're walled, right? So is it necessary to even make skirms? Or is it better to just go up? We're a little bit late on gold here. So definitely something to keep in mind. Trying to get to gold a little bit earlier. There we go. Oh, mining camp's off by a little bit. It's nice to put it down one tile. Just you want to have it closer to the more gold tiles. It's good to keep in mind. It's kind of the same with this one. It should just be over one tile so it's closer to these two tiles. It's kind of awkward if it's overhanging like this, I think, but anyways, this will be fine. We don't have a blacksmith. Now, opponent does have fletching, so these archers will kill your skirms. So, this is why I'm saying this archery range should have been here, because this is where he's going to attack. So, it would have fortified this, and then a house here. And then he can't attack here. Then he has to attack up here or whatever, then you wall to the mill behind, something like that. These scouts won't do anything here, probably. Oh, unfortunately, only one of them's going in, too. One tap. That's all he wanted. There we go. What is the ideal timing / vil count on starting gold? Yeah, I mean, if you go straight scouts into Castle Age, you want to be up on like 33 plus wheel or around 36 villagers, ideally. So if you send villagers, like 5 villagers before you click wheelbarrow, for example, then you'll be up at the perfect time. So, for example, if you're going to go 33 villagers plus wheelbarrow, you would send villagers 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. That's 5 villagers. Then you click wheelbarrow. Like those 5 villagers go to gold. You get the mining camp. Then you get wheelbarrow. And then you'll have exactly 200 gold once you're up. But it's not really that important to memorize this exact timing. It's just go to gold a little bit later in Feudal Age. I kind of do it mainly by feeling at this stage, but I would say that once you have like 10 farms or so, then you should probably be thinking about going to gold. But it kind of depends on how the game plays out. And yeah. So going up to Castle Age, very nice. But your opponent, of course, is Ethiopian. So as I said, free pikeman upgrade. You're probably going to like to have skirmishers here. It's just always good. Of course, the opponent could be making siege to counter the skirms, so then it's good to have knights as well. But knight and skirm is actually a really good unit composition. Yeah, and you're up way faster. So that's a really good thing. So if you're up super fast, you want to be making more of your gold unit, aka your knight, because the knight is going to be doing more than skirmishers. Skirmishers are once he gets up. So once your opponent gets up, then you want to invest more into the skirmishers most likely, but a second stable would have gone a long way. I hope you add it. Being on stone here is kind of weird as well. We don't really need a castle. I think that just placing the first TC here could have been okay on the wood and the stone, and then just mine some stone at that point. But it's like, I don't really know what we're going to spend the stone on for now. A defensive castle is pretty expensive. It's kind of better to just make a bunch of military to defend. Would add a second stable. Yeah, I think a second stable is the main thing that we're missing here. I'm not sure if we got gold mining upgrade. Oh, I think we did actually, because this thing has some efficiency. Looks like, yeah, it looks like it did create the gold mining upgrade. So that's good. And what are we gonna do? Ooh, a 1 villager TC. So if we're gonna get a TC out on the map, we know the opponent has army. And our army can't really fight because it's still feudal units. So getting a TC out here is really risky because the opponent could have military out here. First thing that should have happened was probably Q Knights. And unfortunately, yeah, second stable on the way to Castle Age, very good. Sometimes even 3 stables. If you get behind in Feudal Age, then you go 3 stable. If you're just even or ahead, 2 stables is fine with the 3 TCs. Nice, and I do like that you added the 2 TCs pretty much right away. So that's really good. But yeah, we should be having some knights. Imagine you had 6 knights. Exactly. You have 6 knights, you get in, you just win the game, actually. You just kill a bunch of vills, easy. So this comes back to what I was saying on Feudal Age. You want to be doing as many things that you've unlocked with the technology that you've newly acquired by going to the next age as possible, as soon as possible on the next age. So in Castle Age, that means making knights right away from your stables, making maybe the second armor upgrade, something like that on the knights, because that's another Castle Age tech.
You listen. Yes. And use your feelings, you must.
Thanks, Waka. And then, of course, also adding the TCs. So you had the TCs down pretty much right away, so that was really good. So you're going to get really far ahead economically, but you could have also had knights being spammed at the same time from 2 stables, and that would have been so good, because then you would have knights, better economy, you put the pressure with the knights, and the knights force the opponent to make pikes, and then, well, you have some skirms already, you just upgrade them, and then suddenly you just dominate. Army 2 passive, yeah, but this is fine. This is beginner level. So honestly, it's better to just focus on the eco management. It's not even really about attacking. This is it says 1K elo, but we only have like 50 games. So, yeah. There's still a lot to work on with the economy management. So look, we're floating so much food. Actually, part of it is because we're not using the TCs. We do need to be using all the TCs. So to use all the TCs, the best hotkey is select all town centers. And that's the same for all of your production buildings. Select all stables, select all barracks, select all archery range, etc. You want to learn those hotkeys, and the defaults are not very good. It's like Control plus Shift or something, or like Control plus Alt. I don't even know. It's like a 3 key press that you have to do. And I would recommend setting them to just a single key press. For example, my town centers, select all town centers just on H. Select all archery ranges on T. Stuff like that. So we definitely needed to have a counter to this. Opponents being scared, opponent could definitely kill all of this pretty easily because these are just feudal skirms with 0 upgrades. They don't do anything. So elite skirm, but blacksmith techs are very, very important. Now, I see we don't actually... Oh, wait, no, we do have a blacksmith, but we need to be using that. So, blacksmith, very important. Because these things without the armor are useless. These things without the attack and range, also kind of useless. So, yeah, we don't really need ballistics from the university. What we need is blacksmith techs. And that's what we're really missing here. So... Basically, knights with +2 armor mean that the crossbowmen do 3 damage, which is not that much. But without any armor, they do 5 damage, and they're just going to kill the knights super easily. Like, watch. You're going to go in. These crossbowmen are going to easily handle you because he has bodkin arrow, and you have no upgrades. So all of these knights are going to basically just die super, super fast. Well, I guess he doesn't have his pikes here, but still. As you can see, the knights are not... I mean, they're kind of doing the job, but not really. Not really. If we had +2 armor, it's going to be a lot better. Yeah. Siege also works, but with the 7 skirms from earlier, it's kind of nice to go into the skirms. But, of course, without any upgrades, they're not that strong. So, blue is being a bit passive. If he knew how strong his army is, he would just kill everything, actually. Because those blacksmith techs are super important. Getting town patrol is kind of expensive. I would say that instead of town patrol, we should just invest more into blacksmith techs here. With this army, we generally want to have armor, full armor on the knights, and then full attack upgrades on the skirms, because the attack also gives range as well. So it really depends on how you're using the units. If you're getting close with the skirms to the crossbowmen, then you want to have armor. If you have the knights in front and the skirms in behind, then you want to have attack for the range and yeah, because they're not taking any damage anyways, so you don't need armor. Very good castle position, though. This is the perfect castle position for you right now. So I agree with this castle. But yeah, the unit production needs some work. So I think that it doesn't look like you're using select all hotkeys for anything. So I would heavily suggest learning those. Heavily suggest learning select all hotkeys, because yeah, we have 0 unit production other than a single monk right now. And yeah, it'll go a long way. Definitely. Gonna add a bunch of ranges, all right. But Frank skirms are not good for the late game. So Franks kind of struggle against Ethiopians in the late game, I would say. But Franks can hit a pretty strong early imp timing because they had free heavy plow. And that kind of makes their economy early imp super, super strong for their paladin. So you could just go full paladin and just try and win with one big push. That's usually a pretty good plan for Franks. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to deal with the Arbalister from the opponent. Yeah, but Franks, they don't have the second armor, or sorry, they don't have the third armor, and they don't have the third attack upgrade for their skirms. So yeah, they're just not really the unit you want to commit to here. I'm not sure what happened with the builder as well. I think you're holding shift when you're placing the building, which means that the villager that you sent to build is going to mine the gold or take all of the whatever resource first and then go build this. Yeah, this guy's holding some stone. Okay, I don't know. You manually send another one. But yeah, when you initially place buildings, you want to just basically what I do is say that I want to use this guy. I right-click the mining camp and then shift Q towards the area so that he drops and then goes towards. And then I build the initial building. Then I hold shift and then I create more buildings around. That's kind of how I do it. And that's the most efficient way to get the villager to do that as fast as possible. It takes a few actions, but I think it's worth it. Okay, another decent castle. This hill is higher here, though. So if the opponent gets this hill, he's going to have trebs on this hill and kill that from the high ground. So it's not necessarily the greatest. This also doesn't protect any of your economy on this side. So I think this castle, if you're not sure where to place a castle, just place it in your base. Just place it here. Then you're unraidable. It's pretty good. But this castle it's actually not in a useful position. Even here would have been okay on this side. Okay, so you're up. Conscription's in first. That's what we like to see. Finally getting fletching, though. So, yeah, we really would have liked to have pretty much most of the useful blacksmith techs complete. And, well, fletching bodkin arrow, very, very useful because it affects everything. Planned a castle at high ground, but thought should go defensive first until my army stacks, then go for mid-map castle. Yeah. Then this castle should just be back here. Then we get the army. We push towards this, and then we replace... Like, the opponent should have a castle here, and then you replace this with with your own castle. Actually, opponent's going to go here. So, nice, you're making trebs. Would love to see trebs in this castle as well. So, you want to have constant production pretty much from everything that's useful. And, yeah, of course, both castles should be used. You don't know about this yet, unfortunately. If you just knew, then you would just be trebbing this down right away. So, being a little bit more active with the military can be good. Even just sending one unit around the map. Just the scouts. I don't know if you still have your starting scout for auto scout, but just scout the sides, something like that. But yeah, unit production. I do like that you're focusing on your base building first, because that's at the core. This game is really base building, and if you can do that properly, then using the military becomes a lot more useful. If the opponent took advantage of his army, I'd be dead. Yeah. Yeah, I would recommend. If you simplify the game, or you can simplify the game by just playing one TC in Castle Age. So instead of adding TCs, you can just go 3 stable knights and just try and work on your, like, using the army. You're not quite at the stage where I would say that it's necessary to play like that, but it's definitely a step that you have to take eventually to learn how to use your military. It's just all in Castle Age. You don't even have to focus on the economy, but I think for now, the main thing that you're going to benefit from is learning the select all hotkeys for your production. Because once you can produce things effectively, then it makes sense to use your units. Well, trading the knights for the pikes is not really great, though. and yeah, we just don't really have the technologies. So we're getting chemistry, okay. But if we just had bodkin arrow... If we had the final armor on the knights, could be good. And armor allows us to raid as well. So imagine you send knights to his base. What does he have at home? You get 2 knights over here, 2 knights over here, 2 knights here. And suddenly, the opponent has no more economy. So it's easy to get tunnel visioned on the center. Where are the trebs as well? Wait, did our trebs die? What happened? We had trebs, right? I don't know how they would have died, but yeah, we needed to get more trebs here. The crossbows killed them. Yeah. Pikes killed them in mid. Okay, yeah, I wasn't even paying attention. Oh, hey, Riss. So... Oh, we have Murder Hole is crazy. Maginot could definitely kill this. But yeah, we really just want to be making trebuchets. We have the perfect position where if we just have some trebuchets, we just kill... kind of everything. The opponent can't go under your castle, really, so trebuchets and then bodkin arrow for the extra range, and then you're golden. But see, look, the opponent focused on making the upgrades that were relevant. So the opponent made bracer and has a lot of crossbow. He still needs to get arb, but other than that, he's kind of set up. And so yeah, getting the correct upgrades is really important here. We're kind of just getting a bunch of random stuff. Okay, so for example, arrow slits, it only affects towers. It doesn't affect your castles, so it's not really useful here. But, of course, maybe you didn't know that, so for your information. But yeah, this is where Ethiopians gets kind of scary, because we don't really have a good skirmishers. If we had good skirmishers, it's fine. But without good skirmishers, actually, Ethiopians kind of just dominates. So the main focus has to be getting paladin numbers up. And, well, without any armor upgrades, the skirms kind of just die instantly as well. They don't really do their job. And, well, we don't have the final armor and we don't have paladin. So, generally when you're getting upgrades, you want to wait until the upgrades come in before you engage. So, basically, the timing to go in isn't now. The timing to go in is when this upgrade is complete and you have enough army. So, you want to time your attacks with the upgrades coming in. Oh, so close on that bada boom. Paladin's not enough. We need to have the final armor first. Final armor gives +2 pierce armor, which is huge. It's actually just better than Paladin in that regard. I might as well just shoot. He's gonna kill this anyways. Make a shot. There we go. Okay. But yeah, trebuchets could have come in at any point. Just more trebs. Okay, we're gonna speed it up a little bit here, because I think we've probably got to the point where we've learned the relevant stuff from this replay. And, yeah. So, opponent's adding in men-at-arms now, which is kind of weird. Ethiopians don't get champions. So, actually, paladins just beat them. But this army's really hard to beat. And you're going to go for the raid, so that's always good. Yeah, raiding is good. I think opponent's just falling apart because his economy just wasn't good enough. So, your eco-management focus is what's going to win you this game most likely in the end, but definitely focus on getting the blacksmith techs proper and creating military a little bit more effectively early. So it ended up working out in the end just because you had such a crazy good economy here. And that's why I say that economy management is really the backbone of this game, or base building. So you are focused on the right stuff here, which is good to see. Oh, nice. It's driven by demons with the gifted sub. Okay. Yeah, opponent didn't really push effectively there. And you ended up you finally got almost full upgrades. We still don't have Blast Furnace on the Paladins, but, you know, if you had focused on all of the Paladin upgrades as soon as you reach Castle Age, then you get that Paladin power spike 5 minutes earlier or whatever, and then you can do even more damage, most likely, because, well, if you hit 5 minutes earlier with the same power spike as you did, the opponent's not going to have as much stuff, and you're going to end up doing more damage. There we go. So, we've got one more. At this elo, if my opponent pushes, I'm usually dead. Yeah. It seems like you do take a bit of time to get started with production and stuff.